The recording has started. Meghal, I think we can start it.
Yeah, okay. Good morning, everyone. I am delighted to welcome all of you to the first Young Folklorist Conference titled titled Transformations and Transitions in South Asian Folklore, Problems, Perspectives, and Prospects. We are very glad to have Dr. Sanjukta Naskar to deliver the welcome address. I would first like to introduce her. Dr. Sanjukta Naskar is Associate Professor in the Department of English at Janki Devi Memorial College, University of Delhi. Her area of interest, among others, lie in Shakespeare studies, folklore, and caste in Bengal. She has presented papers in various national and international conferences. She has also received the Charles Wallace Trust Scholarship in 2010 during the course of her Ph.D. from Jawaharlal Nehru University. She is also a member of our advisory committee, and we are very grateful to have you here with us, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Meghal, for your kind words. So I have been entrusted with the duty of introducing the center, which gives me immense pleasure. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the first International Young Folklorist Conference, which is being held online from the 29th to the 31st of March, 2024. This conference is being conducted under the aegis of the Center for Folklore Studies and Research, which is a forum for exploring folklore beyond the book and the academic room. Constituted in 2023, this young group is extremely dynamic and motivated in its research and concern for folklore. The center aims to integrate folklore as an academic discipline, along with a very vibrant component that engages with fieldwork across lesser-known folkloric art forms across nations. Teams of young enthusiasts who have a keen eye for indigenous cultures and ritual forms have tediously recorded performances that have added to the growing digital archive of the organization. This one-of-a-kind center aims to provide a forum for researchers, scholars, artisans, and grassroots-level bodies who are tirelessly engaged with folklore. Rather than perceiving folklore as a relic, the center is deeply conscious of its natural vibrancy in our quotidian lives and aims to be actively part of the performers and artisans of these art forms. Within a span of 6 months, the center has successfully conducted an online course on Introduction to Ethnomusicology, Music, Culture and Society from the 7th of January to the 29th of February 2024. Coordinated by Meghal Chattopadhyay and Mir Masudul Hoque, and is gearing up to conduct its second online course from the 10th of April to the 31st of May 2024 on performance studies titled The Expressive Canvas, an Introduction to Performance Studies, under the able coordinatorship of Bidisha Chakraborty and Kuntalika Jarimune. Folklore Studies Network, an arm of CFSR, is an active group that boasts of over 60 members worldwide who foster collaboration and knowledge exchange in the field of folklore studies, which is a monthly and sometimes quarterly online reading sessions in the field of folklore studies. These sessions observe a vibrant engagement of knowledge and discussion through critical thinking. Apart from the online reading session, the center, under the counsel and moderation of Spandita Das, Ph.D. scholar at IIT Delhi, conducts the Young Folklorist Talk series, which is a particularly important forum as it allows emerging scholars to share their research areas and engage with the participants. The center has successfully constituted a library which houses an extensive collection of over 5,000 books, which will help promote the learning initiatives among scholars. Continuous workshops are held with folklore artists and performers engaging with diverse traditional artists such as Potua, Jari, and Olka artists, nurturing cultural exchange, preservation, and cultivating a deep-rooted connect with lesser-known traditional folk forms. The organization has collaborated for a conference on preserving cultural heritage, empowering folk artists for a sustainable future, under the able guidance of scholar artist Mrittika Malakar, who also happens to be the organizer of this particular conference. The center has also collaborated with the RAR Folk Festival held between 8th to the 10th of March 2024, which provided an immense opportunity for exploring the vast arena with cultural performances, workshops, talks, seminars, and mutual exchange of ideas. The Folk Digital Archive is actively involved in curating and archiving resources through extensive fieldwork and visits to various festivals, thereby preserving our cultural heritage for generations to come. School-level workshops are also organized in order to instill folk values into the education system by integrating them into primary and high school level curricula. Today's conference, which is going to extend for the next couple of days, is the first Young Folklorist Conference on Transitions and Transformations in South Asian Folklore, Problems, Perspectives, and Prospects. This conference is spearheaded by the young and dynamic group of Mrittika Malakar, Ph.D. Research Scholar at University of Kalyani, Mir Masudul Hoque, Ph.D. Research Scholar at Aligarh Muslim University, Meghal Karki, Ph.D. Research Scholar at Ambedkar University, Delhi, Bhumika Singh, Ph.D. Research Scholar at Ambedkar University, Delhi. We hope that this platform will be an important forum for a rigorous exchange of ideas and also an opening up of further areas of research in the areas of folklore, which will collectively reflect the aims of CFSR, and that is to study, preserve, and promote folklore. I wish the team lots and lots of good luck, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to introduce the center. I would now request the organizers to please take over. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Sanjukta ma'am, for introducing us to the center and for the to the aims of the conference. So we will now introduce everybody to our conference through. And I will begin. I would like to introduce myself. I'm Meghal Karki, a PhD research scholar at Ambedkar University, Delhi. I would be introducing the conference to everybody. So this conference was, as you all know, it is a great privilege for me to introduce everybody to the first ever Young Folklorist Conference organized by the Center for Folklore Studies and Research, titled Transformations and Transitions in South Asian Folklore, Problems, Perspectives, and Prospects. This conference was conceived with the vision to provide a platform to young students and scholars to explore their interest in the field of folklore and folkloristics, and to provide them with a platform to ensure greater visibility. We made sure that the conference was open only to early career researchers and undergraduate, postgraduate, and PhD scholars, to ensure that, to encourage them to push and develop their interests further in this field. This conference has been watched with burgeoning interest from people across the field, and we were flooded with abstracts. We had to make some very tough decisions to have a very illustrious lineup today, and we are so glad that all the presenters have also joined us. We had a fantastic response from to the CFP from people from all quarters, and we are glad that our call for papers has pushed everybody to think and ponder and have the opportunity to reflect on the field of folkloristics. So the conference is, if you have, I'm sure that everybody has had an opportunity to look at the schedule, and you would have seen that this conference has 36 papers that are spread over 9 sessions across 3 days, and these are interspersed with keynote addresses from prominent folklorists across the world. We have with us Professor Praveena Shukla from Indiana University in the US, and was a very prominent folklorist. And we also have a keynote address from Professor Simon Bronner and Dr. Simonthi Mitra, and another one from Professor T.S. Satyanath. We also have a documentary screening by a young documentary filmmaker, Mr. Rajat Nair, who's also a PhD scholar. We also have the folk artist Dipanita Acharya in conversation with one of our conference organizers, Mrittika Malakar. And apart from that, we also have 2 panel discussions and 1 roundtable conference to ensure a robust discussion and draw people in and explore the different facets of the field that we call folklore. We are really glad to have all of you here with us, and we hope that this conference is intellectually stimulating and leaves us with food for thought. With that, I would like to pass on the mic to my friend and colleague Bhumika Singh, who's also a Ph.D. scholar at Ambedkar University, and she will introduce everybody to the themes of the conference. Over to you, Bhumika.
Thank you so much, Meghal. Am I audible to everyone? I want to just make sure that. Thank you so much for being here early in the morning, and I'm sorry for the timing issue with the Bhumika ma'am. Yeah, for the themes, it was a really exciting process to figure out the themes when we initially started submitting the concept note, and we wanted to encapsulate basically South Asian folklore, its traditions, and the spectrum of expressions, which is so difficult to be kept under one umbrella. And to begin with, we just wanted to know what are the changes, since within itself, South Asian folklore or folklore of any sort is not a relic of the past. It keeps on changing. It's very dynamic in nature. It's a living tradition within itself. So the focus of our conference was to encapsulate all of sorts, like the emerging topics such as post-folklore, digital ethnography, heritage conservation, as well as like the challenges that are being faced, and like the reimagining of folklore, and how it forms a very collective identity within itself. And by examining how folk traditions resonate within contemporary context, so that we can gain a deeper understanding of the insights within globalization, social changes, and complex issues like that. As well as how, and also we mentioned multiple questions to help our students to submit their abstracts and to formulate their ideas around the papers that they wanted to submit, because many people initially face a lot of issue with what do we actually write about, where do we even start, where and where does this journey take us, what all is supposed to be, because it is not a mechanical process at all. You have no idea where the field itself will lead you. And that is why the transitions and transformation aspect was the key idea of the conference itself. So the key questions that we raised during within our concept note as well was how have folk traditions evolved in response to environmental and migratory and social shifts, ways of reimagining folk tales and interpretation of folk practices in contemporary context. To what extent does globalization and social pressure, commercial pressures impact the integrity of folklore? How does social media influence transmission, since we are in the day of digital folklore as well? And especially after the pandemic, there has been a big stream of within itself where folklore took a life of its own, and how people interacted with their traditions and cultures, and the implications of these transformations on people and their lives, along with methodologies and what actually constitutes a folklore research. And I'm pretty sure we are going to explore a lot of themes beyond what I've actually mentioned, because the papers are ranging from, I can't even map it out. And I'm really excited that each of us is going to listen to them. Now, I would like to pass on the opportunity to Mir to further introduce the conference. Thank you so much.
Hi and good morning, everybody. I will just, my name is Mir Masudul Hoque, and I'm a PhD research scholar in the Department of English, Aligarh Muslim University. So I'm one of the coordinator of this conference. So I'd like to talk about the aspect that what we focused on selecting papers and what are the representation and inclusivity. So we have received almost 543 registration and almost over 300 abstracts. And it was really a very tough process to select 36 out of them. So we fix some parameters for that, because like it's, I mean, that process was done in a peer review system. Sorry. So we did it in a manner that that will only focus on merit at first place, but it will also be inclusive of the regions of South Asia. Especially most of the people were from India, so we focused on regions, like mostly regions that are left out, like Kashmir, Ladakh, and Northeast. Even like we had responses from East, West, South India, and also some Madhya Pradesh, the Middle India also. So that was really a, I mean, it is, we should be very thankful to the to the people who submitted this abstract, and we are really grateful to you, and also a lot of attendees who register for this conference. And mostly we focused on what are the relevance and significance of their themes, and the technicalities, especially the research questions, and what are the methodologies they're trying to imbibe implicitly also, and what are the significance that they are living out through the prospects of this conference. I mean, what are the questions the new questions they're raising. So that were the process of I mean, our selection. And like likewise, we have also got that opportunity to like have uh, most illustrious I mean, resource person around the globe, and we're also very grateful to them because they responded, because this I mean, this process was so I mean, so the time was so quick, and they responded. It was a great honor and help from their side. We are I mean, very thankful to them. And after like scheduling all these things, our team also worked pretty hard, that I'm also thankful to them. And then we're just running in a journey that I hope that it will lead to somewhere where a lot of discourses will be raised on, and then we'll also pave some way and also set some like a new kind of I can say academic inquiry, where folklore can flourish. And with all the best to everybody, I'll now hand over to Mrittika. Yeah, thank you.
Hello and good morning, everyone. This is Mrittika Malakar. I'm pursuing my PhD from Department of Folklore, University of Kalyani, and I'm also an executive member of Center for Folklore Studies and Research. And today I'm here to shed light on the objectives of Center for Folklore Studies and Research. Our mission is to breathe new life into various cultural aspects by organizing seminars, workshops, and conferences, both regionally and internationally. India is a land rich with diverse colors and folk traditions across its different regions. We witness a plethora of folkloristic practices, each contributing to the vibrant tapestry of our cultural heritage. While much research is conducted at the regional level, academia in India lacks dedicated departments for folklore studies. However, the subject holds immense potential, being approached from various perspectives in departments such as anthropology, sociology, and humanities, showcasing its multidisciplinary nature. The Young Folklorist Conference is a platform designed to explore the work of young folklorists worldwide. We have welcomed participants ranging from undergraduates to postdoctoral fellows and also the young practitioners. This conference will become a regular occurrence with hopes of encouraging more young scholars to join us in the following years. We have deliberately kept registration fees affordable to ensure the accessibility to all interested individuals. Coordinations of the conference rests upon the shoulder of four of us, supported by our advisory team committee. The four coordinators are also young PhD scholars by our from the universities in India. Two of us are from the executive committee, a member of the CFSR, while the remaining two are selected from the applications received from the candidates within the general membership. It is our collective responsibility to ensure the success of this endeavor. And now, following the conclusion of the conference, we assure that we will publish an edited volume comprising the scholarly papers that are presented at the conference. The publication will be entirely managed by CFSR in collaboration with other publishing agencies and partners, with the editing responsibility overseen by the conference coordinators. It's really crucial to highlight that neither the conference nor the center receive any financial support from external agencies or any sponsorship. Instead, all costs are internally covered. Additionally, upon publication, complimentary copies of the conference volume will be distributed within India, but sending the book abroad challenges we will try, although now it's essential. In essence, our efforts are driven by the passion to preserve and celebrate the rich cultural heritage. Together, let us continue to foster a community where our folklore studies thrive and young scholars are empowered to contribute to this ever-evolving field. With this, I take the privilege of introducing our esteemed chief guest, Professor J. Bheemaiah. Now, let me introduce Sir. Professor J. Bheemaiah is currently serving as professor and head of the Center for Comparative Literature at the School of Humanities, University of Hyderabad. With a profound dedication to scholarship, he has conducted extensive research in the realm of Dalit literature, resulting in the publication of 6 seminal books. Professor Bheemaiah's commitment to bridging linguistics and cultural divides is evident in his role as a translator of Telugu poetry in English. Having skillfully translated 5 selection of poems beyond his expertise in literature, his academic pursuits encompass folklore studies, pedagogy, and the Telugu language. In addition to his scholarly contribution, Professor Bheemaiah has played pivotal roles in the organization and participation of numerous national and international conferences. Notably, he has actively coordinated the UGC coaching program for spoken English and grammar, catering to the educational need of the marginalized community, including SC, ST, OBC, and minority students. His multifaceted engagement with academia reflects a steadfast commitment to advancing knowledge and fostering inclusivity within the academic community. We request Professor Bheemaiah to share his insights. Thank you.
Good morning, all of you.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Clearly to you.
Yeah.
Thank you, all organizers of this young FOLKLORIST conference. This is, I think, the first international conference by the young scholars, and it could be the young team which could be dynamically organizing all those activities. Part of that is this international event. Center for Folklore Studies and Research is behind it, I think so. I congratulate all the organizing team, and Dr. Imtaz Ali also, who was once the student of my department, School of Humanities, University of Hyderabad. He requested me to speak few words about folklore, whatever. However, of course, I am not an expert in this field. I remember that I had offered one short course for PhD students very long back when Dr. Imtiaz Ali was student of mine. Maybe with that strength, I have some kind of an idea about it, so that and I am now daring to do something else for you. This is a scholarly initiative, student initiative. We have also a Rock-On student initiative, which organizes every year Rock-On seminar at Center for Comparative Literature. I don't know whether this is duplicated by Center for Folklore Studies and Research. But however, I appreciate the very vibrant initiative taken up by the scholars, the center. I see many number of scholars representing different universities and institutes across India and beyond. This is our event that I am going to participate in, which is being done by the students out of my university. Maybe because of the spirit that Dr. Imtiaz Ali displayed and encouraged. This is a very interesting topic that organizing committee has chosen for deliberations and discussions. Transitions and transformation. In South Asian folklore, definitely there is a transition. Definitely there is transformation also. Can we expect the kind of folklore we could see in 19th century and beyond? Can we see the kind of folklore that today exists in 21st century? There could be a lot of gap. But however, that has been in transition, changing its forms, changing its and various modes of performance also. Folk, the very term folk might have been coined by William Thompson, maybe in 19th century. That is a record. You know what is folk as a term? Who are the folk? That is a very, very fundamental question. Who are the folk actually? But the people living in cities are not the folk. Only the people living in rural areas are the folk. Are they illiterate or literate or pre-literate or the elitist literate? So there are various stages that we think of. The folk, what we think of, where do we situate them? When you're talking about the ancient period, the folklore of India in particular and South Asia in general, we had and we have also rich tradition, folklore tradition. We have and many other cultures, of course, but each culture may have its own history. But whatever culture we have, because of diversity of language and other things also, definitely our cultures emerges out of the folk only. Today, we are looking at folk literature maybe in different way. Folk literature that existed very, very long back could be different. Certainly, it must have influenced and impacted further literature also, further cultures also. But what it is that distinguishes between the folk culture, folk literature, or folklore and other literary dynamics? I say that there were stories in ancient India which we call kathas, and we have seen the kathas even from the Jataka tales of Panchatantra. Panchatantra could be a written text, not for many people. For many people, it could be also oral text, even today. So a text can be oral and written and literary. When a kind of tradition which is being transmitted from one person to another, from one group to another, from one society to another, that is actually it is taking a transmission of a tradition, transmission of oral narrative. Folklore, folk literature is nothing but oral literature because it is done by word of mouth. When there was no tradition of writing, when there was no mechanism of writing, but the people depended upon oral narratives only. Whatever experiences they had, whatever traditions they had, whatever customs they had, definitely they would orally transmit. They were orally tell fellow beings about their experiences, but they had they had been enriched with morals, wisdom, and knowledge. Folk knowledge. Lore means knowledge. Folk, the ordinary people, the people who are not blessed with education. In the beginning, in ancient India, we cannot see that all people were blessed with education. Many people were performing and narrating their stories, expressing their feelings and ambitions through word of mouth. Even today, we can see such instances. In Telangana and Andhra, Telugu states, even today I see there are some social groups which are not part of mainstream society. They are still known as nomads with no fixed settlements. They are going from one village to another. They are wanderers. We can also remember a Bardic tradition, which is in Bengal. How the bards actually keep moving from one place to another place, singing their poetry and songs, but there were no written text at all. They used to communicate their message through word of mouth. Even today, you might have been also noticing such incidents everywhere, irrespective of cities and villages as spaces. Even in towns and cities, you can also notice the sites of the nomadic people coming in different groups, asking for money through their performance. I don't think they have written texts about their messages, about their stories, about their artistic performances. They create, they compose immediately on the spot, and they speak, and they chant, they sing, they play. This is the greatness of the folklore. I would like to actually put all these in the category of folklore. They are not so educated. They are very ordinary people, but they are enriched with a lot of wisdom. The wisdom can be reflected through their singing, narrating, playing, performing. And look at how apart from kathas, stories, of course, but stories may have different forms also. In Telugu states, we have a burra katha, Oggu katha. Burra katha, Oggu katha are the performatory, artistic, narrative performances and narratives, artistic narratives. Even today they are seen, but gradually what I perceive that they are disappearing because we do not find the inheritors of that wealth, artistic wealth, folk wealth. That the youth in the modern period, what they do is they hardly show their interest to carry forward the dynamism of folklore. It is because of many reasons. They could be influenced by modern technology also. Because of modern technology, do we see the disappearance of or weakening of folklore? Folklore cannot be made weak, weak, or it cannot be assaulted in any manner. It has its own power. Today we are using proverbs. Even in literary text, we have borrowed from folk literature and folklore. They are hidden. They are actually, loaded with wisdom, experience of the people. Even today, it is true. We cannot cease to use the proverbs, the riddles, and many other, kind of forms of folklore, even in written literature. But the only thing is that how folklore and folk literature, with the passage of time, getting changed. That is being changed because of the modern technology. Modern technology is impacting not to the extent of its disappearance. It is impacting in such a way the dissemination of folklore messages being disseminated, further communicated to newer areas, to newer spaces very speedily. We have technology to spread the message of folklore within no time to other areas and to other regions and to other countries also. And in ancient India, almost all we had the same tradition across South Asian countries also. We have similar traditions and similar customs also. Even today we have similarity of customs and all that. Of course, there could be a difference in language. Language doesn't matter. And folkloristic proverbs or kathas existing or being practiced in one region could be also there in some other region in different form. Certainly there is some kind of proverb. For example, you see, man is slave to his stomach. It may be an English proverb, but we have regional proverbs and local proverbs in our respective regions and respective localities and respective countries also in different form with the same meaning. The spirit is same. The form is different. Its language expression may be different. That we can see but its significance lies always same. And but in the context of the European culture, but what they define the folk as peasants, and their customs, their beliefs, and their narratives. Customs, beliefs, narratives, and traditions have emerged out of the folklore. Even today, we can carry on, even carry out those customs, despite our living in cities and metropolitan cities and towns, because we still inherit them from our ancestors. We still try to, promote them in one way or the other. After all, they are bound to a tradition or our beliefs. We cannot do away with our beliefs, our customs. Though we have changed our lifestyle in cities, but in some form or the other, it is being carried out. This is what we understand, how folklore still exists in one form or the other, even with the youth living in cities and towns also. As we know, basically, folklore concerns itself with life, customs and rituals. Can we survive in the world without our customs and beliefs? We have our own beliefs, maybe because of our caste, maybe because of our tradition, maybe because of our community. We are part of that. So folklore actually encompasses everyday life, which even the folklore comprises stories, festivals, rituals, language and speech, even jokes and parables can be also part of that. They are all part of artistic traditions of, even the music can be also there. Even today, I can see in Hyderabad, the nomadic tribes who also bring the decorated, bedecked bulls, which are called Gangireddulu. Every year, they are bedecked with different colors of cloths, and they are, decorated with some jewels, and they are used for, the playing everywhere, even on the streets, in order to communicate a tradition. Of course, they are actually taking money from the people through that custom. But I say that this custom is still alive. Very strongly I say it is alive. Despite the fact that under individuals, the people live, only rural people can practice it. It's not. Even in the urban setup, we can see such practices. For urban people, and the rural people also migrate to urban spaces. They try to practice those traditions. So what I would like to say is, the art of folklore, it could be literature, it could be music, it could be any drama and whatever. It is still there, strongly practiced in one form or the other. The only thing is that it has been commercialized and commodified. How? Once it was actually there in rural spaces, that was confined to grand people and grandmothers and great grandmothers. They used to play and sing lullaby during children's birth in order to soothe, in order to create some kind of relief for the crying babies. Can we see that kind of practice now, even in the villages? It is because, thanks to the mechanical life, the selfishness of the young generation, great mothers and great grandmothers are now put in old age homes. They are not there actually to take care of those things. Instead of spending their time with children in the domestic households, they are whiling away their time miserably in old age homes. Is it not young generation that is at fault? How do we promote folklore when we encourage such kind of a tradition? However, deeply implanted wealth is folklore that can be manifested in different times and different forms also. And for example, I will tell you how it has been politicized also. It has been politicized in the sense the youth coming from rural areas, they are working for the political parties in their campaign. How politicians are using folk artists for money. Instead of getting some kind of entertainment, instead of getting some morals, instead of getting some wisdom and knowledge of the tradition and customs, what they are doing is their artistic services are used, politicized in order to get political mileage during election campaigns. That way, how folk art has been commodified in different way. Till recently, we had cultural heritage of folklore. You must have also heard about the revolutionary balladeer Gaddar, revolutionary balladeer Gaddar from Telangana, who also worked as an activist in Maoist party very long back. He came out and started mobilizing people through his folk songs, revolutionary songs, in order to inspire them to be very conscious. He tried to brought in social consciousness and awareness in the masses, who are the part of his performances, not the politicians, elitist politicians, but the ordinary masses were part of his performances. Even on the streets, they could be part of that. They used to even coordinate his singing. They used to sing along with him. Folklore has folk artists, but has no bounds at all. He can influence or she can influence any society through folk performances. So that's why, but folklore is getting changed, maybe into some other form, but it is not losing its the spirit. But we are trying to misuse it. People are trying to misuse the folklore, the folk songs and all that, because they are using it for the purpose of political benefit. This is the change today. That's what, for this, technology is being used effectively in order to tap the benefits of this. So in that, what happens is, and the people who are, the elitist people who are not part of and the folk creation is going to enjoy the benefits of that today. This is a tragedy. But the ordinary people are away out of this arena. those who are not concerned are getting used for this and benefiting from this kind of expressions. And this is what we see in transition. There is also transition in form. There is also transformation in its expression, because from the social to the political. But that is creating political culture, not just as a social tradition. It's not a manifestation of social tradition and cultural tradition, but political tradition and political culture. It is being and generating today. So that's why I say that it is not possible to see that it is vanishing. Some way or the other, in some form or the other, it continues to be manifested. It is not just in India. It is a phenomenon that could be possible across the globe. But India can be taken, or South Asia can be taken as an example to perceive the status of folklore, of folk literature, in terms of the global world. So this is what I wish the organizers the very best. There will be very interesting deliberations and discussions. There will be experts from this field. They would reflect more strongly about the relevance of that folklore, about its continuity and transformation, with the strong words, very professionally. Thank you, and thank you very much for this opportunity given to me on this occasion.
Thank you so much, sir. Meghal?
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Intajali would like to say a quick few words before we begin with Pravina ma'am's session.
Sorry, it's not in the schedule. And thank you, sir, for your time. As you rightly pointed out, that it's about rock on. During my PhD days at Center for Comparative Literature, University of Hyderabad, we have got many opportunities for handling different conferences, maybe more than 15 conferences. Even Rock On is one of the best conference in India. And it's really, sir, it's a kind of inspiration that we are bringing it here. This is just a rock on experience. So it's a kind of seed for rock on, and many of the faculties, many of the students who are involved during rock on, and rock on is not only one conference, but it's giving seed to many conferences as such. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Intajali, and thank you, Professor J. Bheemaiah, for your very